revealed the man who allegedly mowed down dozens of people in Melbourne's Bourke Street was released on bail after claiming to be a police informer. Just days before the deadly January rampage that killed 6 people and injured dozens more, Dimitrios Gargasoulis fronted an out-of-sessions court hearing. His claim to be a police informer was reportedly a major factor in the decision by the bail justice to free him. Gargasoulis is yet to face trial.
Howdy folks, I just sort of press record and talk shit. I just saw there's an article that popped up on Yahoo News or something saying that old Jimmy was he was back when they released him on bail, when there was all that hoo-ha when questioning why he was released and all that. Turns out he said that apparently they were told that he was a police informant. Now that adds a very interesting stick to the spokes. It sort of makes sense why they were holding off, but if things go not to plan or something's not right here, and I'm just curious to see where it ends up, because if things are the way that they say, there's a lot of questions. As you know, from that incident, from that whole event, the government reacted, supposedly, the people reacted, and they all said, hey, we've got to change our bail laws. We can't have people like this getting out and blah, blah, blah. So you imagine the money and all that crap behind the scenes to get that to go through. And it all turns out it's all for this one case, which it turns out he's an informant. An informant for what exactly? Why didn't you tell us that after the incident? And then you wouldn't have had all the public calling out to you unless you had other plans. So it just brings the question again that, what our law people, you know what I'm talking about, what are they up to? We live in a state here in Australia that has never had a Royal Commission. And considering we were good enough to have a show dedicated to it called Underbelly, to all the criminal activity, and there seemed to be a lot of backdoor deal stuff even on that show, it just sort of makes you wonder, like how legit the whole thing is, and what were the motives, why are you using that guy as your informant? It's clear it must be drug related, mate. I can't speculate. I'm just presuming because we've all been told, but who knows what we've been told? It seems like, and there seemed to be a bit of a purge of a lot of Melbourne related videos and channels back a few months back, and it sort of correlates too with the timing of when he was meant to go to trial, and then he came out with that story saying about apparently he said that it was Illuminati based. There seems to be some weird stuff going on, and I still wonder why his Facebook was allowed to be accessible so easily. It just all seems to be a bit of a setup, the whole thing, and obviously he mustn't be playing ball. So there'll be two options: either they're taking the piss and he's going to disappear, or he's going to end up dead in jail. But nobody ever knows where he is, do they? I'm pretty sure. That's the other question. I was just curious how they were, and so. They didn't have to have him out on the street either, and so if he was out there and he's carried out this thing, it just doesn't make sense. I just think there's more to it than even what we're led to believe. Meanwhile, we're chasing around this guy thing, and all this pretend stuff, and all this dodgy stuff and no footage. It's like meanwhile, they never came out. They've taken, 8 months, now 9, to come out and say that he was an informant, And so what the other guy was informed. Oh, there's so much. There was more going on with this incident than they've led us to believe. And I tell you, if there is foul play, I'd be demanding money back. I'd be demanding money back now, I'd be saying, because, they've misled the public in order to carry out the bill, that law to change the magistrate rules. And I think that's a dodgy thing in itself. Imagine, how much money is involved with putting on extra, bailiffs or whatever they put on, just to set up this whole magistrate thing. It's a scam. And the liars that were involved with it, and I'm still waiting for people to come out who were injured and do their story on a current affair like every other bloody incident that we ever had in this country, whether it was Martin Bryant's or whether it was the Sydney siege. Where are they? I'd be, I thought they'd want to know that people had recovered or the injured people, and it's like, and now they've cancelled their, the Bourke Street Fund. They cancelled that a couple of months back. Old Ken Lay, he's an odd character, not that I'm saying anything. He came out and said, oh yeah, we've cancelled it, we've raised $1.5 million. So they're happy with that, by the sense. And then never to be heard of again. It's been months and nobody's heard anything where the money went. Does anybody have any of that info? Robert Doyle's, they're still putting bollards all around the city, considering it seems like a setup in the first place. I've had enough. I've had enough of the crap. And now you've got people rocking up on old mate PK's bloody house, looking for videos. What are they up to? There's something more to this. Obviously a key word was old PK, because I had my video strike, and it was when I was questioning whether he had the right to access the footage from the CCTV. And so, and they called it harassment and bullying. How is that harassment and bullying? When I ask a question, you can't ask anything anymore? Like, really? I can't even ask you at the time, because that could be deemed as harassment and bullying? I'm a bit over it, mate. We're so... we got to the point, I mean, I don't even like Hamish and Blandy, but the fact that it's become a major news story, the fact that they've had a poo on the TV, and all these people, there's an outcry, and they're getting raked over the coals. Is it publicity, or is it... If that's the real state of Australia, I'd hate for those offended folks that were offended by the poo to accidentally see two chicks in the cup video, if you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, well, enter that at your own discretion. That's all I say. But yeah, no, there's something not right. I think there's so much stuff going on at the moment, so much stuff, even with our local council here. We've got developers and council all in bed with each other, making arrangements to do things before the deal is done, to make sure so they can get the regs to be able to try and get this thing. And they're all in it. And doesn't matter what politician or whatever, they're all the same. They're all in it for the same reason. They couldn't give a fuck about... The Greens couldn't give a shit about the garden or the vegetables or the environment, really. They don't give a crap. They're only there to look like they give you a voice. They don't have a voice. You don't have a voice. And if you do have a voice, they'll take it down if it's not the voice they want to hear from. So it's getting out of hand. And I don't know what we're going to do. Because, I'll tell you, it's a bit dodgy when you've got how many politicians that aren't even citizens of the country telling us what to do, what we can't do, and then when they get pulled up on it, if you went to Centrelink and told them you were an Australian citizen and came out that you're from New Zealand or wherever, they'd take you to court, They take you to court, put you in. They want to do you for fraud, all the usual stuff. But no, not these guys. They just go, oh, sorry, oops. No, that's not good enough. Something needs to be done. I saw there's a story about this guy. He hasn't been paying the tolls. He's got a bit more of a brain than old mate Bonacci guy who was doing the toll avoidance paying here on Tullamarine Freeway. There's a guy up in Sydney. He seems to have it sorted out pretty good, where he's sort of saying, well, since you changed the monetary thing and you're not allowing me to put my gold and silver coins into your tin, well, now you've changed it and you've made it a cashless, it's a different currency. So from that point, he refuses to pay for it, and they're not even going after him, apparently, because they're too scared, because if he makes it too public, all you other folk are going to wake up. And and this is a good way to do it. At least he's representing his name. We've got a lot of people that don't put their name up on the table. Yeah, I'm the Rockno, but you know who I am. I don't have to keep telling you. I'm easy to find, which is pretty easy. But there's others out there that have gone out of their way to not disclose their names and use a false name, but still give you the ideas of, say no to the system, don't comply. What else? Oh, don't comply, but and don't pay your taxes and all this shit. But they're not putting their name out there, and they're not doing it. Or if they are, well, I don't know. It just seems a bit odd that if I always say represent. I have to represent. It's, I don't know how they get away with it. There's some very dodgy stuff going on, and that's all I'm going to say for now. And thanks for listening, if you do, and take care of yourselves and keep a lookout for you, everybody. And that's all I'm going to say. Peace.